Stephen A. Smith is defending Pat McAfee. Now, good for Stephen A. Smith. See, Stephen A. Smith is all about that business, yo. He understands that getting on the good side of Pat McAfee is good for contract negotiations. He'll never admit it. But I know how this stuff kind of works. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. He defended Pat McAfee. Remember last week, Pat McAfee went after the sports media, addressing the comments McAfee made towards the media during an open panel discussion with media members last week. Jimmy Patero, the HMFIC, I'll let you figure that out, had all the ESPN talent in for a town hall meeting. They do that about once every 3 or 4 years. Actually, I told you it was kind of fun. On my left was Aaron Andrews. On my right was Sam Ponder, and they were discussing my love life. It was kind of fun last time I went. Anyway, McAfee made comments about the media who had been very criticizing of him. And Sass stood up for it. That's how we refer to Stephen A. Smith in these parts, Sass. And if I screw up today, understand I'm on a 36-hour cleanse. I don't like it. Anyway, here is what Sass had to say. Sass had to say Pat McAfee obviously expressed his opinion about the coverage he was receiving from the media out there. I got to tell you, you can debate the presentation, whatever. What you can't debate is that he made some very valid points because people have been going at him from day one, including a very jealous Sass. They've been blaming him. They've been trying to malign the show and him speaking up for himself. I don't blame him one damn bit. He has a right to. That's where Stephen A. Smith tries to act tough. One damn bit. I can't do Stephen A. Smith voice, and I don't want to. I like Dan Dakich voice. It's known all across the country. Anyway, here is what Pat Mack had to say about this previous to what Stephen A. Smith had to say. These are the comments that led to Stephen A. Smith making a comment. McAfee said, "You can certainly paint me and my guys as terrible people." And I think that has happened for a lot of people as they were getting a lot of clicks. Boy, is that true. I'll tell you what, you click on McAfee or you start talking about McAfee, you get clicks. Why do you think we're doing it right here? I mean, Awful Announcing is in here somewhere. Well, Awful Announcing is a little liberal posse run by a little squatty liberal posse named Little Benny Coo. We call him Little Benny Coo because he's Little Benny Coo. Don't at me. I don't know who you are, but like, man, future earnings with like slander, libel, character assassination, stolen clips, and all that ish. See, here's what you got to understand. Patty Mack keeps receipts, and he keeps them smart, and he has a lawyer that keeps them. So if you don't credit his show, yo, he's coming at you. And Awful Announcing, oh, they're the worst. Bunch of dudes that got fired, I think, I heard, maybe not, at other places working for Little Benny Coo. We like Little Benny Coo. Little Benny Coo, he's mad at me, Little Benny Coo, but I digress. Like, if I ever want to deal with suits, which I don't, and everyone knows that that could be a thing, like I can make that all the thing. What Pat McAfee is saying, if he wants to start suing folks, he can. If he wants to start getting litigious, he certainly can. And you know what? I want him to do it. I don't like Little Benny Coo and Awful Announcing. Not even a little. Not even sort of, maybe, kind of. They're ridiculous, but they're not the only one. All you got to do is look at the era we are in. The era that we are in illustrates two things. One, going to school for a journalism degree is useless. There are no journalists. There are no unbiased journalists. You have to fit into one side or the other. Now, some may say that I, you, us, on OutKick fit into one side or the other, and that may be true. But it makes my point. If I can get swayed to one side, which I think I am now, it's almost impossible to do. Because one thing I have always done is not get swayed to one side or the other, is get my information, process it, and away we go. Well, I am doing the same thing, but it's so ridiculous. I mean, we have got literally a presidential candidate that talks like this, y'all, when I'm talking to people in Detroit, and then talks like this, y'all, when I'm talking to people elsewhere. I would love to see Kamala Harris speak in front of an Asian group. I think that'd be fun. The second thing you got to understand, other than the fact that journalism schools are dead, is why. Why are all these liberal folk like little Benny Koo so angry all the time? Why are they so vicious all the time? Why is the left media so attactive all the time? Why can't they just be honest? I ask that all the time, like, why? Why must we do this? See, here's what we do here at OutKick. We pay attention. We pay attention, we look, we see, we decide, we react, we discuss. We're always open to other sides. In fact, you saw it, Mina Kimes, the ridiculous, and now that I know who Mina Kimes is, I got to tell you, this is as useless a money as ESPN has ever spent on a human being, ever. Ever. Not a single redeeming quality, whether it's her show, which I looked at, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Now, I understand a bunch of guys in too tight of shorts pulling up to their balls with beards and looking like little freaking, I don't even know what you call them. Yeah, I get it. They might like Mina Kimes because, well, it's the cool thing to do while they drink a double soy latte and have their boyfriend next to them talking about, why are you watching sports? I get it. But damn. So that's my second thing. Why? Like, why attack McAfee? I'll tell you why you attack McAfee. Because McAfee is easy. He's different. He's a white dude. He's a white dude making a lot of money in a world where clout for journalists comes from attacking white dudes, even if you are a white dude. Like Roddy White, we're going to get into that in a little bit, talked about too many white dudes on defense for Clemson. Now, he's probably right. But imagine a white dude saying that about black dudes. The world would implode. But not one media member said a word. Why? Because the media is scared to death to be painted as racist, to be painted as not a go along, I'm a cool kid. But McAfee, he's easy, man. His show is different. It's irreverent. And it's no different than Trump. Trump is different. He's irreverent. The left-leaning media, the left-insane media can't handle it, so they come at him. It's the way it is, and I don't understand it. I sounded like Andrew Dice Clay. It's the way it is. Anyway, that's my story. Good for Stephen A. Smith, and smart by Stephen A. Smith. Why is that smart? Well, look, without Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee, ESPN would move it along just fine, and that's where ESPN's really stupid. ESPN doesn't understand. They don't need to pay stars a lot of money. I mean, look, go back to wherever. We'll find somebody else. But Stephen A. Smith understands the game. And the game right now is Pat McAfee. Why is the game right now Pat McAfee? Well, I don't know if you saw this, but Game Day started their best, biggest, most iconic TV show, ESPN's. Game Day started Saturday. Saban was on it, and I think he's going to be great. Desmond Howard, we know why he's there. Herbie, great. But the whole show got greater because of Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee dominated that show and made everybody more interesting, made everybody more fun, made everything more spectacular. Stephen A. Smith knows this. He's latching on because Stephen A. Smith is smart. He wants that $25 million, yo, and he knows where it is. It's in the of Pat McAfee, and he's trying to pull it along with him. Smart. Stephen A. Smith, a lot of things, but he ain't dumb. Jimmy Patero is the main man, as I said, the HMFIC. He explains why McAfee is so valuable. You have to look holistically. Yes, you do. Of course you do. Come on. Pat is really helping the broader ESPN brand with younger people. That's right. If you were to ask our employees what our priorities are, I believe that to an employee, they'd be able to tell you 4 business priorities, one of which is audience expansion. Well, number 1 is don't get called racist. Oh, number 1 is put as many brothers and sisters on there so nobody comes at the suits sitting in the building 4. That's number 1. Anything else is crap. So let's put that there. That's the subset. We know this. I guarantee you Roddy White is on your television this weekend with Mark Jones doing a game. Betcha. Anyway, Audience expansion means a bunch of things, but first and foremost, it means attracting and speaking to the younger demographic. What keeps me up at night? No. He's going to lie here. Really, it's that. This is in part why we went ahead and did the deal with Pat and licensed his show. No. He's lying. What keeps him up at night, and this is a fact, Jack, is not being, quote, diverse enough. That's what keeps him up at night. All this other crap is business talk. Jimmy Patero and the suits on the sixth floor of Building 4 care about that in the post-George Floyd world. That they don't care about the quality of broadcast, obviously. I mean, just sit with a TV nerd one time and see how bad it's gotten. They don't care about any of it. Maybe a show or two. They care about game day. They care about Monday Night Football. That's it. They don't give a rat's ass. Now, the big umbrella is the whole, we got to be diverse. All right? The subsets are broader audience, younger people. That's the subset. Jimmy can lie to people. He can't lie to me. I'm too smart. I've been in this business too long. I pay attention. And I've talked to most of the people on the fourth floor or on Building 4. I always get that screwed up. Building 4 at ESPN. I know what they're about. Yeah, McAfee brings us a broader, younger audience, but that ain't the deal. The deal is we got to be more diverse. Does McAfee fit that deal? No. That's why the national media is having such a problem. See any brothers on McAfee's show? Yes, Darius Butler. But for most people, that ain't enough. That's why the national media, another reason the national media attacks him. Jimmy Patero, you can lie to others. You cannot lie to me. Yes, you want a broader audience, but the number one thing you're trying to do is not get a big article or an expose saying that ESPN isn't diverse enough. Don't give me any crap. I don't want to hear it. LSU, Brian Kelly. I'm on record. I like Brian Kelly. What the hell's wrong with you people? Is he likable? No. My buddy wormed room with him at Grand Valley State. He didn't like him. I like him. He always wins. He's tough on players. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. Yes, he did the Kamala Harris. He went fake accent. I get it. That's not good. Okay. I don't understand the dancing with players. There are two things I would do on a recruiting trip. One, if I were a player, I would never put the team's uniform on and take pictures. That ain't happening. Two, if I were a coach, I ain't dancing with players. Ain't a chance in hell. Player says, Coach, you got to dance. I ain't doing it. Hey, man, I ain't doing it. I don't give a damn what I'm paying you, and we will talk to Armin Katayan, and I got to tell you, this book is freaking awesome, what I read last night. Awesome. But I also got to tell you, I ain't dancing. Not a chance. I'll dance at the club with my wife. I'll dance at a wedding with my wife. But I ain't going in pools with crazy-ass liberal women, and I ain't dancing with recruits. But that's one of the reasons you don't like Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly was furious after LSU took the lead over their lack of killer instinct against USC. Where's Feinbaum on that, by the way? And the press conference table took the worst of it. Paul Feinbaum couldn't wait to use the loss as justification to blast Brian Kelly. You know, Feinbaum getting a little out of control. Feinbaum couldn't play with anything but himself. And I'm sure he's not very good at that. I'm sure a blind date for him is using his left hand. But anyway, let's be honest. Brian Kelly probably deserved it after this game. Here's Kelly's meltdown.
Hell yes. I mean, and that's what I said to the team. I said, we had some guys played their butts off tonight, and we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things. About not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach him better because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not a meltdown. I mean, I guess in the modern world, that's a meltdown where every coach is supposed to pucker the lips, kiss the ass of players who just pissed away a game. But that's not a meltdown. That's a coach just telling you the way it is. Now, here's the problem. Message to you coaches out there. Don't ever blame yourself unless you're Brian Kelly and you got about $20 million in the bank. The media is going to blame you. Your fans are going to blame you. Your parents are going to blame you. Your players are going to blame you. Everybody, grad assistants going to blame you. Assistant coaches think they're smarter than you and they know what they should have done and you didn't. Okay, I get it. All right, but don't ever blame yourself. Unless you're Brian Kelly, you got $20 million in the bank. You got $20 million to blame. I don't give a damn who you blame. But lesson number one, don't ever blame yourself. They're going to blame you. I made that mistake Michigan State. I had a drug-induced, crazy-ass team. We got blown out. We were 2-0 when I took over at Indiana. We got blown out at Michigan State. Next day, trying to be their boy, right? Or after the game, I didn't do a good job preparing, blah, 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 blah. Stupid. I should have said, I don't know what these idiots did. I'm not checking their bags. This ain't my team. I don't know if they drank, smoked, got high, but they played like jackasses. And you know what? They do it again, they're going to get kicked off Indiana's team. That's what I should have done. I didn't. I learned a lesson. Never blame yourself, coach. Of course, Feinbaum had something to say because, well, as I said, a blind date for Feinbaum is using this one, not this one. Anyway, when Brian Kelly walked into the press conference and showed emotion, and then it was too late. Well, no shit. I guess somebody called in a Feinbaum show and said I was ripping him and Heather Dinch. Well, they're right. Heather Dinch is the worst, and Feinbaum I like. But anyway, I don't want to hear it after the game. Well, what do you want to hear, jackass? I mean, seriously, what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear after the game? I mean, they got beat. People get beat. Last undefeated team in college basketball goes back to 1976. Who cares what you want to hear? You paid $11 million, and don't give me this, I need to do a better job coaching. Why not? Why? See, the guys like Feinbaum that never played, never coached, although I like Paul, can't give you an answer. They just say this stuff. Don't give, like they're some tough guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's he supposed to do? Explain to me, please. He walked in a press conference. Actually, it was great theater, and actually, I'm going to start betting LSU the rest of the year. I'm just telling you. That's the kind of emotion. That's the kind of thing that you do if you're a good coach. I'll tell you who used to do this. John Thompson. I got to use the black guy, right? Bobby Knight, Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, Jim Harbaugh. Coaches that have won use the media post-game to get messages to their players. Now, you get pissed. Aren't a whole lot of mommies and daddies calling the coach the next day. You act like it's okay and apologetic. Guess what? Mommies and daddies and agents are calling the coach the next day. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to bet Brian Kelly the rest of the year. I'm betting him every week. I may bet against him, but I'm betting. No, I'm not. I'm betting on him every week. I may take points. I may give points. I may take the money line. But every week from now on, we're going to keep a Brian Kelly bet. Because what he did, guys like Feinbaum can never understand. Again, middle-aged white guy, Brian Kelly, easy to criticize as Feinbaum realizes he is falling down in the pecking order at ESPN. And don't give me this, I need to coach better. You're paid $11 million to do the coaching into the game and throughout the game, not acting after the game. Yeah, I don't think that was acting. And that's where, again, a guy that's never played or coached doesn't understand. But Feinbaum does. I mean, let's be honest. Feinbaum, at least in his feeble way, has been around coaching enough. Has never been in it, but has been around it. And he's been smug. And now, like most at ESPN, he believes his own bullshit. Like he believes that he's actually something and has a voice. Oh, he does. But I tell you this much. I wasn't no act. I know when coaches are acting. I saw Kamala Harris acting yesterday in Detroit, trying to get down. Look, Kamala Harris's deal is different. It's just another white person trying to act black in front of black people. All you got to do is turn on any radio station in Indy sports talk other than mine, and you're going to hear that. But anyway, I digress. That wasn't acting. Nah, that wasn't acting at all. That was who he is. He didn't stop there, though. Feinbaum also ripped Dabo Swinney. And he seems really happy about the downfall of coaches. Now, Dabo Swinney probably deserved it. His team got belly-whomped 34-3 by a Georgia team that looks as good as any team in the country, if not better than every team they've ever had. I mean, that team looked good. Here's what he had to say about that. Sadly, it seems like Dabo this time is really done at Clemson. Been writing them off for some time. They've been hanging around. They were up against the best kid on the block Saturday, got manhandled. There's nowhere to go for Dabo. He can complain about the criticism. He can say he's doing the right thing, but clearly he has screwed up badly, refusing to go into the portal. Again, middle-aged white guy. Very easy. Very easy. Yeah, maybe he deserves it. But everybody thinks the portal is this great elixir. We'll see. I mean, look, here's the deal. I'm going to watch Colorado take on Nebraska. Both teams went in the portal. Obviously, Colorado went heavy. I mean, Colorado's the poster child for the portal. Let's see how they do. I don't know. It's game one. I get it. Everybody does their show, right? Monday morning. It's an overreaction Monday. If I ever do that, if we ever do that on this show, Nick and Nick, I'm going to punch you both through the screen and hit you right in the face in your place from right here in Indiana. Like, it's going to come fast. And you're going to be like, oh, man. We are never doing a bullshit overreaction Monday because we're not bullshit people. But anyway, I digress. All right, so who's next, right? It was Harbaugh. He won a championship. It was Lane Kiffin. He couldn't coach blind turkeys to take a dump. And next thing you know, boom. You know what I'm saying? All right, next. Hey, Kamala Harris, and the world of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is spreading. Spreading to the sports world. 17-year-old with a gun. In Kamala Harris's area, a, quote, nice area of San Francisco, shot wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. How about that? Tried to get his Rolex watch. A 17-year-old with a gun. This is the world that we've come to. Now, it ain't all Kamala Harris's fault. I mean, we've got idiots everywhere. But this is what has happened. Here's Pearsall being loaded into the ambulance in the middle of broad daylight. Guy decides, man, I'm 17 years old. There's no law here. This kid had been released. Earlier. It's total anarchy and insanity all across the country. And guys like George Karl, former NBA coach, says he thinks this is progress. Niners rookie Ricky Pearsall released from the hospital after attempted robbery shooting in San Francisco. Union Square, a tourism hotspot, has been cited as an increasingly unsafe location based on a large number of transients and the county's progressive DAs who allowed San Francisco to become a bed of crime. I got this idiot, George Karl, the former coach of the Denver Nuggets and former, I don't even know what the hell he is. You know what I mean? He's telling me that this is progress. Georgie Karl says, I want to evolve who we are. This is evolving who we are. This is it. This is what evolving is. 32 gang members from Venezuela are taking over apartment complexes in Chicago. We know what's happening in Aurora. But all of these clowns on here think it's all a ruse. They think it's all a ruse. And you got to hate the media. You got to hate everyone. Hell, hate me. Do it. I mean, I would. Might as well hate everybody. This is what former Major League Baseball pitcher Mark Mulder had to say about it. Check this out. What an absolute hellhole of a city. The mentally ill libs will still tell you how beautiful it is while they get mugged and sleep in shit. Step in shit. Excuse me. No, it's true. That's exactly right. Guy says, given a chance, Republicans would take away a woman's reproductive rights in a second. Really? I mean, this is how stupid people are getting. I'm saying this, and I'll say this again, and I'll continue to say this. There is not a U.S. citizen with a brain that is rational and informed that could vote for Kamala Harris. Now, I got a lot of people saying, I am. Okay. All right. Guys are idiots. I mean, that's all I'm going to tell you. Satu Salaby is with the Dallas Wings. She's annoyed by Caitlin Clark fans. But, and this is where she's pretty smart, openly admits the Fever rookie is great for the WNBA game. I'm going to look this up. Remember when I told you a while back, it's not going to happen. Can you imagine the angry OG lesbians of the WNBA allowing Caitlin Clark to win the MVP? It's not going to happen. Asia Wilson's best player, even though she's the most immature woman in sports. But anyway, long story short, Caitlin Clark is now I'm looking it up right now, third in terms of voting for the WNBA MVP. Really? Well, I got to tell you, I told you before, and I'll tell you again. Caitlin Clark is the best player right now in the WNBA. I don't give a damn what you think. She is. Here's what she said. Obviously, it's annoying because there were too many Caitlin fans in our arena, but kudos. I feel like our Dallas fans could have done better. I had mixed feelings seeing all the Caitlin jerseys in our home, but it's an amazing sign for women's basketball. Satu Salabi. Hey, Satu, guess what? Somebody actually talked about you. You should be happy about that. Yeah, I get it, though. I do. You know, it's like when I was coaching at Bowling Green, it drove me nuts to see all the Ohio State and Michigan shirts walking around campus, but I get it. I do. And so does Satu Salabi. Satu gets it. And Caitlin Clark came in there and busted that ass, yo. Yeah, she did. Deuces. I like just flashing all the stupid things that people flash. It amuses me. What can I tell you? But anyway, Caitlin Clark mania, 4 straight. They have moved ahead in the betting markets of the Las Vegas Aces or whatever they're called with 4 Olympians. Think about that. They got 4 Olympians on their team, the most valuable player, and this little white girl, 22-year-old from Iowa, coming on to the worst team in the league, has moved the Indiana Fever ahead of the Aces in the playoff rankings, according to ESPN and which ESPN and NN's out of their freaking minds, but that's okay. Jalen Brunson called out woke gasbag Mark Cuban for comments he made about his parents when Brunson opted to leave the Mavericks to sign in free agency with the Knicks. Jalen Brunson calls out Mark Cuban for going after his parents. Well, I mean, if you look up Rick Brunson, hey, Brunson left the Mavericks in 2023, signing a 4-year, $104 million contract with the Knicks. At the time, Cuban was asked by reporters how he let Brunson leave Dallas and blamed Brunson's parents. Where it went south was when Rick Brunson, Jalen's father, took over. When the parent took over, or parents took over, Cuban said at the time, that was the problem. That was the downfall. The only thing that I didn't like about the whole situation was when Mark said when the parents got involved. That's when things got messy. So that was the one thing that I was kind of like, damn, that was a little jab, Jalen Brunson said. Cuban, who is just in the news for being a woke idiot, and I hate that because he's an Indiana guy thing. I don't even know if he went there. I know he owned a bar and ran out a $10,000 thing that he owned on it, bill, rent, whatever. But anyway, I apologize. I put you in a certain way. That wasn't my intention. Of course it was. Why can't people just say that was my intention? What was your intention? This is what I always say. See, I have a tendency to list. Okay, Mark, if I put you in a certain way, that wasn't my intention. Well, why not? Why'd you do it? It was a unique situation a lot of different ways. Definitely no hard feelings. But it's always interesting when your dad and I walk by each other, you know. It's just like he gives me the eye. I give him the eye. Then we smile. Then we keep on walking. Mark Cuban always tries to act like the tough guy. I give him the eye. You don't give shit. You talk with a lisp. I don't know. I'm a voicist. I will tell you, I'm a voicist. I judge people on their voice. I do. I've said for years on my radio show, I'm a voicist. When somebody calls my radio show, depending on how they talk, I know what this call is going to be about. It's a gift. And I can tell that Cuban has probably made himself into what he is, overcoming what he really is, which isn't a very tough guy. No. Please. I give him the eye. Really? You do? All right. I'm going to under-eye you. Rick Brunson is an interesting cat, though. Now, 2014, look up Rick Brunson, Patrick Ewing. I'll let you do it. Pretty funny. All right, the Eagles are pissed, and this has become a running joke, and I dig it. Opponents of teams playing teams are making fun of the team by saying they endorse Kamala Harris. This is how idiotic this has gotten. This is how asinine this has gotten. So the Eagles, there were on bus stops, the Philadelphia Eagles, Kamala's team, and it shows Kamala Harris in an Eagles hat. And truthfully, underneath it, I think it's the actual Eagles website. I do. So it's the Eagles website, so it looks real, right? I mean, it looks absolutely real to me. Now, I'm no genius on this kind of stuff, but it looks real. So now, here's what the Eagles had to say. They're making it clear they're not responsible for these political ads endorsing Kamala Harris that popped up on bus stops. We're aware of the counterfeit ads. We are aware counterfeit ads are being circulated and are working with our advertising partner to have them removed. It's like, I love it because people think Kamala Harris is so sorry, but she's going to win. She's going to win. I mean, let's not make any doubt. There it is. And she is going to win because people are stupid. I mean, if you're watching this show, chances are you're not stupid. But if you're George Carl, you're stupid. I mean, really stupid. Given a chance, a Republican would take away a woman's reproductive rights. Yes, that's what we would do. Your Mango Mussolini Messiah is a man approaching his 9th decade of life and thinks, John Carl, is that what I said, George? Oh, well, all right. You're a weird cultist. Okay. All right. It's okay. Our side thinks the same way as you about everyone voting for Trump. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There shouldn't be sides. That's the problem. It is unbelievable how dumb people. I say this, and I'll say this, and I'll say this, and I'll say this, and I won't stop saying this. Not a reasonable United States citizen that is informed can possibly vote for Kamala Harris. Now, if you want to tell me, but Trump, good for you. I don't care. I'm just telling you. Little Georgie Carl says, I keep getting asked why I support Harris Walz. It's because of the environment, really. There's the same amount of glaciers today as when, what's his face? What's that guy's name? Lieutenant Al Gore was born. He was telling us glaciers were going away. Really? Abortion. Really? Really, Georgie? Georgie. Abortion. Really? What don't you like about abortion? Woman's right. My body, my choice. Here's a choice. 11 different kinds of birth control, including don't spread your legs for some slap. Women's rights. What has Trump did? What did he do with women's rights? Voter protection? And helping provide college for all. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, college for all. Now, who's paying for college for all? You know what I mean? Who is paying for college for all? I want to know. I'll tell you who's paying for college for all. You and me.